Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. Podcast number 129, I think.
Yeah, 129.
Anyways, long international break. Back with two back-to-back 4-goal dubs. I am your host, Danny Saldanha at Danny Saldanha, and I'm joined with my guy Chris at TheBigChris69. What's up? What's going on, Chris?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, like you just said, two great wins in a row. Paulinho scored. He waited till the very end. Everyone was ragging on him. No one even remembers him biting his nails on the bench while Thiago Tomas scored a brace.
Nobody remembers those memes everybody was trying to make, eh?
But yeah. Other than that, I'm doing good. It's been a couple weeks. We got some random shit that happened in between now and again that you may have even forgotten about at this point. But yeah, let's get it.
Facts. We'll be joined by a Besiktas fan. We were on his podcast, the Eagles podcast, later last week. Sinan, he'll be joining us soon. New York native, a fellow Yank, if you will. But until then, let's get to your Twitter questions. We just have two today from our guy, Nuno Gabriel. So Nuno asks, speaking of his golaço, Paulinho's golaço, do you guys remember? Do you guys think this is what is going? Do you guys think this is what is going to, as they say in Portugal, abrir o ketchup, and he'll go on a scoring run finally? Homeboy had some serious bad luck versus Besiktas. He needs to see a bruxa. It's true. Hit the woodwork twice before he finally bagged that golaço. Thoughts on that, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, that Besiktas game is incredible. The chances that he had that weren't going in. It really was getting to the point where it's like, it's kind of funny, but it's also fucked up in the same way, you know? It's less fucked up because they were chill in the result at that time, but it's just fucked up for the long term, what was going on there. So I'm actually really glad that he scored. Yeah. All the witch doctor stuff, I think we're hopefully good.
Yeah, facts. Last question from Nuno Gabriel, again at Cati Valence on Twitter. He asks, what are your guys' thoughts on Mateus Reis' performance lately? Do they justify having taken Vinag's spot after Vinag, had that awful game versus Ajax? I'll extend it a bit. I think Nuno probably agrees with me here, but I think Vinag had, after that Ajax game, had quite a few stinkers. But Mateus Reis, I mean, I fault maybe for the first goal or for the Besiktas' only goal. You could say it's a foul. My fellow Canadian Kyle Laren, shout out to Kyle. What are your thoughts on that, Christian? Mateus Reis?
Yeah, it's up and down, right? Sometimes you get the good Mateus Reis, and sometimes you get the one who he receives a pass and his touch goes like 10 yards the wrong way than he's trying to get it to go, you know? Yeah, there's a lot of people who are calling for a foul on the jump with Laren. I see why you would say that, and I could see how it could be called a foul. But at the same time, Mateus Reis doesn't even attempt to jump. I mean, just he got that's kind of like the equivalent to getting dunked on. I feel like it's like, dude, you just got fucking owned, dude. He just got sky high. He's preventing you from jumping. But the fact that he is in the air already and getting there and you haven't even jumped yet means that even if you did jump, you weren't going to get there. It's kind of the facts, right? Like he was late. You know, like Laren's already in the air, you know. If his hands aren't there and then Reis jumps like half a second later, like unless Reis has significantly greater hops than Laren, which
I don't think
like
he's getting it either.
Doesn't. No. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like to play on there a little bit, to be honest. But I could see why you would think it'd be a foul.
Yeah, I see it too. But I mean, no complaint on that goal, I think, for me. Fun fact, Kyle Laren and I share the exact same birthday. He was just born in Brampton.
And there goes Danny. All right. So Danny was just delivering us a fun fact about – oh, there he is. He's already back.
Bro, I pressed leave studio instead of exit screen share.
Oh, so your window didn't even crash, so you got back in like 10 seconds. What were
It's
you
been
saying
one of
about
those days for
Laren?
me. Me and Kyle Laren share the exact same birthday, April 17, 1995. Technically born in the, well, not technically. We are born in the same country. He's just born in Brampton, which is like a whole other world, let me just tell you. For those Canadian, for my fellow Canadians, I think we know
Oh,
what I'm
was it
talking
the
about.
same year?
Same year, same day, same everything.
Wow. That's actually kind of crazy, to be honest.
And
That's
he's
like,
banging goals.
like,
He's
oh, I
banging goals
share a
against
birthday.
Schwarting, and I'm
I
talking
share,
about it, bro.
yeah, I share a birthday with the celeb. It's like, all right, like probably not the same year, but like that's kind of
No,
crazy, dude.
exact same year. Crazy. Anyways, go ahead, Christian. There's a timeline of everything we missed, but just before we talk about Bullinich. So take it away, dude.
Yeah, I just looked back through our timeline over since our last pod was October 7th. So I guess was that exactly 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it
14
was.
days,
It was a
yeah.
Thursday, right?
Yeah, so yeah, it was exactly 2 weeks ago. So I just went back to October 7th and then started scrolling up and just looked through all the stuff that happened. So it starts with the international break. As far as like our players were involved, Matheus Nunes got his debut, right? I believe he got his debut against Qatar, and then he got his "You're locked in, you can't leave us now" game against Luxembourg. Got in the official game, important. In that same game, Palinha scored and did a Ronaldo celly. Legendary.
I forgot about that.
Legendary shit. And Ronaldo scored a couple. Ronaldo and another one. Sporting scored a banger off his chest volley, off a flick from his teammate Slovenia.
Puskas award worthy? I don't know.
They won't give it to us that, but it was sick. Jenny Katamo scored for Mozambique.
Yeah.
Coates rode Pine and then got nutmegged against Brazil. Not a great international break for him, but as you can see, it affected him 0%.
Yo, I love Coates, but for Uruguay, this guy's garbage. Just never call him again. Just let him stay in Lisbon.
He's such a good reserve option. Like that is a luxury reserve center back, to be honest.
Yeah.
Rafinha, I just feel like we should be noting his incredible form at the moment for club and country. Former Sporting player. Yeah, good for him. And obviously the Spain boys reached the Nations League final. They won the semi and then lost the final. Unlucky lads. Porro got hurt, so he didn't even dress for the final, I don't think. But I mean, it's not like he probably would have played at all. Something crazy happened that didn't. But Sarabia started both games, and by all accounts, was decent. I think better in the first than in the final. I think he got subbed off in the final. So, yeah, good shit for them. Right after that same weekend, because it was international break, Sporting played a friendly against Portuguese, which is a Liga 3 team, and I think they won 3-0. And Palinha scored a brace. So like this is like a throwback 2 weeks ago meme. These memes move so fast that a meme from 2 weeks ago is like ancient. So yeah, he was getting memed, scoring braces in the training match, like LOL. And then Nunes took a pic with Edinho after the game. They were teammates for one season at Stubble in like 2012. Absolute banter right there.
Yeah.
Just Google like Edinho Sporting. That's really all you need, and just like there's like 6 incidents that have occurred over the years. Or Twitter
search it. Of that
guy. Porro won Defender of the Month for the league. Good for him. And then right after that, he has an interview, and his grandpa is like in the interview too. I think it's like a sit down in their living room or some shit. And he like is always talking about how Porro wants to play for Real Madrid. I didn't even watch it because like I don't fucking care. Really. And like it like the Real Madrid rumors kind of started to swirl a lot. So much to the point that Porro came out and delivered a statement on his social media, like saying, I'm not, I mean, obviously it's any player's dream to play for great clubs, but this is what I'm doing right now. Well done to him. But like, yeah, it was kind of crazy that shit was spiraled based off of like, what is fucking, like his grandpa's probably like 85. It's like, yeah, it's like a kid's dream. Like, why are you like reporting this as like it's some freaking like scoop? Like, right after that, Bragança renewed. Matheus Nunes actually renewed today as well. So, Bragança 125K to 200K. Matheus Nunes 400K. Matheus is on double the wages of Bragança, which I don't know.
Kind of makes sense. He is the
He's
bona fide starter, I'd say at
Bragança,
least.
he's the starter, and if Bragança becomes a starter, he'll like get that level up.
Yeah.
Bragança through 2025, Nunes through 2026. Like, if if those deals expire, something crazy happens.
and the buyout clause went from 45 to 60. I can't remember what Bragança's was. I think it might be 60
It's 60
as well.
It's 60 as well. Yeah, not that fucking matters either.
Yeah,
exactly. I don't even like report buyout clauses anymore on the Twitter.
Fair enough.
It's so fucking. I mean, I remember it used to like somewhat matter. But
that's what I was going to say. I remember when Bruno first started doing it, it was like 75, 80.
It was just slowly going up 100. And it's like,
exactly.
Dude, they're selling if they get a good offer. They know his market. Other hilarious news. This is just a timeline of shit that happened. This is all in order, I think. It came out. Porto's RNC came out, report for the financials for the previous season. Otavio had a 15 million euro signing bonus. Incredible. I mean, imagine if that came out at Sporting, bro. This guy Pita Costa has the most pacified opposition of all time. That it like was just a blip. Like, but dude. The Polingu 22.9 was the fucking end of the world, man. Like 15 million signing bonus. Sheesh.
Nothing.
Yeah. So then right after that, they officially announced the AG was going to happen. No budget, only financial reports. So they just scrapped approving a budget, and they're just like, we'll divide the 2019-20 budget, by 12, and then like you divide it out. So yeah, they've been managing the past year already on that system. So I guess they're just like, fuck it, what's another 6 months of this shit? We've already been doing it. Can't get any of this shit approved. So that's happening this Saturday now. But it officially got announced back then, whatever, fucking like October 12th, wherever we're at this point. The Stromp jersey leaks and then isn't used. Incredible stuff, really. Everyone was melting down. People like it, some people don't. The back is hideous. The collar does not line up. A lot of reasonable complaints, in my opinion. And then the kit isn't even used. And Bolnis is wearing blue and white. So explain to me how a green and white and green or white socks like is gonna like clash with that in any way. Yeah. Dude, I bet it's because like they didn't have the kits delivered or something. Probably. Or they're like not in stock or something, and they couldn't get them from Nike. Like that is literally probably why. More so than like the colors class. I bet they just like didn't have them or some fucking idiotic shit. Hope they come in before the next round against Varzim, which was drawn today. I would have forgotten. That was an incredible transition. They moved Portugal, Serbia to Estádio da Luz from José Alvalade, which would have been kind of sick, right? It would have been the decisive qualifier. They're both probably going to win out, and that's going to decide who goes automatically, right? So it would have been sick to have that at Alvalade.
And so did they give because I don't know if this was the reasoning behind it or if it's just like a rumor that was going on or maybe you tweeted it. Was it because of our grass? That they gave it
never said that. They just said fixture congestion for Sporting, which I feel like low-key means the grass. And Alfred Kerensky is right. I don't know why. I just assumed it would end after the election. It's still the same budget. But yeah, it's definitely because of the grass. And on that side note, we now have 3 straight home games on the grass. Mm-hmm. At least it's gotten a little bit of a break, right, for the past couple of weeks. But best of luck, grass. 3 games in like 10 days. Nuno Mendes was a finalist for Golden Boy, top 20. I mean, the Portuguese players never win shit like that. I feel like they like make it to like the finals. So like good for him being top 20. He'll probably finish like 12th or some shit, 14th, whatever. Good for him. It's still great. Let's get that fucking transfer activated. Actually, Fabrizio Romano, that's his name, right? Mm-hmm. Reported that PSG was basically gonna activate that clause. Yeah. Which we kind of knew, and there probably is a handshake agreement behind the scenes. But the fact that Fabrizio tweeted that like a week ago, like with no context, is a good sign, I'll say, for sure.
If I'm not mistaken, he's been there like bona fide left back. There's he's like competing with somebody else. I forgot their name. But
is his name like Kim Pembe or something? Or does that guy play a different position?
He's more of a center back, but I think he can also play left back.
Okay. But yeah, I honestly haven't been watching the PSG games that much.
Yeah, he played the Champions League game where Messi just scored 2. So,
okay.
Yeah. Double check.
And then obviously the last thing I have on this timeline is something that we're going to touch on. I just ended it with like shit that we're going to touch on this podcast. So it ends with the Bulnes game. And it's obviously the Paulinho face on the bench. Not twice. There's 2 Paulinho faces. There's Paulinho face 1, which wasn't as good. But at the time, we didn't know we were going to get Paulinho face 2. And then we get Paulinho face 2 after the brace. Incredible, man.
That was hilarious.
It's all good now. Right?
Right. Yeah. So let's go into that villainous game. Let me just quickly bring up the lineup here. Where is that bad boy? So we have this is not the villainous game.
Get that logo out of the screen.
I just seen Adan and I'm like,
oh dude, I thought they
see, I even googled Uj Villainous. What is this? What's going on here?
You gotta maybe say Taça de Portugal. That'll narrow it down.
Yeah. That's actually a blunder on my part.
I have it. There's one on 0-0. That's the one that I looked up. It's got all the subs and stuff, so that's a good one.
Boom. My bad, guys.
Oh, good, brother.
Boom. So we had Virginia making his debut, Gonzalo Inacio Fadal in the back line, Gonzalo Esteves, I believe, making his debut as well. I don't think he's been subbed on yet.
I don't think he has either.
Ugarte, he's already been subbed on for like garbage time minutes. Bragança captaining the squad, and Vinagre on the left wing back position with the return of Pot, the brace of Tiago Tomás, and the goal, the penalty kick of Jovan Cabral, with substitutions of Pedro Porro, who I thought was seriously injured, Golart, Mateus Reis, Mateus Nunes, and Nuno Santos. Christian, take it away, dude. What are your thoughts on this game?
To be honest, I went back and forth because I was as I was like doing a little prep for this, I was like watching highlights and shit. Oh, we have Sinan. We'll just do this after then. We didn't even get into it.
We'll do it after. What's up, Sinan?
What's going on, fellas?
Glad to have you on, bro. We were just quickly talking about a little Portuguese Cup action, but no need to worry about that. We won 4-0. No big deal. They're in like the 4th division nowadays.
That's Belenenses, was it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The real Belenenses, by the way, too.
Yeah, there's an imposter club currently in the top flight, but yeah, it's an imposter club. That's what it is.
That's there's a club in Turkey now, Adana Demirspor, and like the real Adana team is Adanaspor, but they're like somewhere in fourth division or something. So yeah, we got a lot of those.
So yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually crazy, the similarities between Turkish football and Portuguese football.
Definitely.
But anyways, so let's jump into the Champions League game then while we're here. Starting 11 for Sporting was Adan, Inacio, Coates, Fadal. We had Porro and Mateus Reis on the wingbacks position, with Palhinha, Mateus Nunes in the midfield, with Pot, Sarabia, and Paulinho up top. You guys had... Take your lineup away, because there's no way I'm pronouncing that guy's the keeper's last name, dude.
So oftentimes you have us pronounce these guys go by their first name. So he's actually we call him Ersin, but yeah, Ersin Destanolu. We have Domagoj Vida and Wellington on the back line, with a familiar face vis-a-vis Valentin Rosier on the right side of our defense, and then Fabrice and Sakala on the left side, which we rotate that position the most. That's something of a weakness, but. And then, as you can see statistically there, apparently. But then you have Joseph de Souza sort of in the back of our midfield, with Miralem Pjanic and Alex Teixeira. That's our best trio. And the only downside is that it was maybe like their second time on the pitch together because of all the injuries. I don't know if you guys have talked about that at all in the past, but Besiktas was just ravaged by injuries coming into this match. And like we had a mostly healthy side this time around, but still settling and gelling, which we all got to see. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for you guys, I forget this is your podcast. But and then on the wings, Rashid Ghazal and Canadian Nationals team member Kyle Larin. And then Michy Batshuayi, and I think many will recognize, anyone who follows the sport.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, just quickly, for those watching, if you want to give Sinan a follow at Sir Writes a Lot __, of course, give him a follow on Twitter. Follow his podcast as well. Eagles podcast. Not the bad Eagles that we don't like talking about. The Black Eagles, though, exactly.
Black Eagles are fine.
But Sinan, yeah, exactly. Sinan, take us through the game. What were your thoughts on the game? I know it was a heavy loss, but some bright points, I think, for Besiktas, I think.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to recognize my own bravery for showing up here. No, I'm kidding. Of course. This was tough, honestly. We came into this one with a lot of hope, and obviously, like, losing to you guys would never be terrible in and of itself. Obviously, like 4-1, on the other hand, is a little unsettling, especially because we're going into our derby against Galatasaray this coming Monday. So, but yeah, I mean, on the other hand, I guess it's good that the starting 11 got to sort of come together and try to force things against good opposition like you guys going into that match. So I guess that's the bright side. But as for this match, it could have turned in a few key moments, right? Like when Alex Teixeira nearly scored at the end of the half there, that would have made for a different sort of match. Or when Batshuayi rounded Adan, your keeper, but then skied it, that was a lackluster ending from him. But no, I mean, all around, I think you could also probably make the argument that you guys deserved all of your goals, if not more. And I think the fact that two of them, or three of them, if you really, three of them being on set pieces is unfortunate on the one hand for us, because, you don't like to lose like that. But on the other hand, considering how many chances you guys had and didn't put away at other points in the match, I think it's a fair result. I hate to say it. Our defense, I think initially we went in with a lot of energy and verve, and we were trying to like gegen press you guys, and we probably had you guys on the ropes for a minute, at least, maybe you thought for a good 15, 20 minutes. But then I think
so many turnovers in the back forced. Like,
a
lot of problems. I thought the first 15 minutes were horrible by Sporting and so good for Besiktas.
Yeah, I had a lot of hope, honestly. But you could tell that fatigue started setting in. And I think that's in part.
Right, it's right after the Kawach.
A lot of these guys.
Kawach scores kind of against the run of play, it feels like, the first one.
Yeah, and really, like, when we equalized, I think we could still, make the argument that we're keeping it together. But certainly the second one, that one was the mind killer. That one really, I mean, to have the same goal scored against you was very deflating. And I think by then also, again, with the guys coming back from injury, a lot of fatigue set in. So realistically, we probably should have switched to a more conservative play from there on. But I kind of kept going for it, and I think that's where we paid the price. You guys were masterful on the counter. And I have to say, like, one final note, I think your manager, Amorim, that was kind of a masterclass. Like, if he watched previous match against Başakşehir, we lost in a similar manner, and similarly, like, we were weak on the counter. So I think if he recognized that we were going to have possession, I don't know if that's regular for you guys, but I expected it to be more even-handed, So for us to have that much possession is a little scary because we're so weak on the counter. And so I think, in a sense, your manager probably played to that weakness of ours, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty for us.
I definitely agree, because we're a team that mainly has the ball as well. Christian, I don't know if you want to spill your thoughts on this game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I kind of touched on it, where it was just like I literally thought we were gonna lay another egg, and that was gonna be that probably, because if you lose the away tie with the team that you're probably potentially, in this scenario, if we would have lost fighting for third with, it's not a good situation to be in. But we were very effective on set pieces, and we got basically 3 identical goals. The third goal was a result of what would have been. It wasn't identical, but it was just another Coates header, and which resulted in the handball, which was like, again, like Besiktas is down the other end. No one even appeals for Sporting. Besiktas is down the other end, almost scores, and then he brings it back for a PK. And I mean, to be fair, it's probably the right decision, but just crazy. This game for me is just crazy swings of emotion. It's Besiktas almost scoring. It's Sporting almost scoring. Besiktas at the post. Batshuayi rounded the keeper and skied it. He also had a shot that went like literally this far wide in the first half. Like, this game literally could have been like 6-4. I think the Sporting's probably deserved the winner in the end, but Besiktas is probably deserved more than 1 goal. I see our friends at Goal Point here have them at 1.0 expected goals. I don't know about that. I mean, it seems more like a 2.8 to me. We were 4.9. We created a lot of chances. But at the same time, a lot of those chances came once you guys were chasing the game at 3-1 in the second half, and we're just getting 4-on-3 breaks and stuff like that, 3-on-2. And it's just a decision of like which the center back doesn't cover. You just pass it that way, and it's a great chance. This game was not over until I think Amuni actually said this too, that he didn't think it was over until the 4th one went in. Yeah. Because at any point, if Besiktas scored that second goal in the second half, it's just the crowd gets into it again, and it's game on again. And if that happened the 60th minute, 65th, 70th, 75th, if it happened at any point, like it would have been frenetic to the finish. So the 4th goal was honestly needed. And I think Besiktas is very unlucky to not concede or not to score more, but at the same time, the defense a bit shambolic. Understandable at times when you're chasing the game at 3-1. You have 0 points. You're playing at home, right? It's go time if you're down 3-1. So I get it to a certain extent, but I was impressed, with Besiktas. Better expected. I expected actually a similar game, or I expected honestly a game where maybe Sporting dominates possession more, and it's Besiktas who's hitting us off the counter, and it finishes in a 1-1 draw. Maybe that's kind of what I was expecting going into it. But I'm happy with the result, and I know coming back to Lisbon, Sporting needs to take care of business again because Besiktas needs a result, and they're right back in the race for 3rd. However, if Sporting gets a result, they're right back in the race to qualify, and Besiktas is kind of left in the dust. So, I think it'll be great. Probably maybe the roles will be a bit reversed because Sporting will be at home. Maybe Besiktas is the team that's more dangerous off the counter, like I kind of expected in this one. But it was a needed 3 points for Sporting, and it was a needed goal for Paulinho.
Facts. Take it away. Go.
I was just going to add our manager, and Turkish managers tend to be quite cryptic and a little bit weird, but he made this sort of grandiose statement about how we have no interest in the Europa League, which I didn't exactly know what he meant by that. If that means we're gonna go for it all out, we're gonna win these last 3 matches no matter what, or if it's kind of we're gonna just focus on playing the way we play and play this out, because I didn't know if it was a defeatist statement or if it was a gung-ho.
I know. And there's a scenario where 9 points maybe not even qualifies you, but
I know. Not with Ajax. I think they could just win one more, and that becomes almost. Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. But yeah, it should be. I definitely think the return leg. I wouldn't assume that we're just done with it, done with everything. I think you can expect Besiktas to come out and give it a shot. But on the other hand, I don't know. You guys you're finding your form now. I guess the only thing to our benefit is that we could find our footing by then, or we should. I certainly hope we do as far as domestically. But whatever. It is what it is. Now we move on.
We move. But let's not move too quickly because what we like doing here.
Wait, one more thing. I heard you mention that you guys dropped a game to Istanbul Başakşehir prior to facing us. We absolutely despise Istanbul Başakşehir at this podcast.
Good.
I kind of just despise everything that they stand for, and they're just a obviously plastic club with just basically created by the government.
Exactly.
So yeah, and they knocked us out just shockingly. So many reasons that we hate him over here. But what was the result of that game?
So yeah, we lost 3-2. On the road, whatever. I mean, they don't have any fans, so it's always weird to even say it on the road. They have this giant stadium. That,
they still have the COVID restrictions going on.
Yeah, but not even that. Even without, they are, like you said, a completely plastic club, and Istanbul is so saturated by the big three clubs, and then you have a number of smaller clubs locally that are somewhat legit, as far as having followings, whatever. But Başakşehir is not one of them. They're a municipal team that this current government just injected a ton of money into, in a very shady fashion. And so they're kind of collapsing. So it was a shame that we lost to them.
They didn't finish that well. They've obviously been in Europe and stuff recently, but last season they finished 15th or something. They were fighting relegation in the end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So how are they this season?
Almost in the same exact position.
Spot. So that's not a good result for you guys then.
Terrible. And we gave them a footing too, we want them out of here.
Yeah. And now you've got Galatasaray coming up. So good luck.
Yeah,
good luck.
Exactly. Thanks.
That was not supposed to be sarcastic. I realize.
No.
No,
of course. No, I meant I guess I'm viewing it with pessimism, I'm nervous about that for sure. But you never know with the derby. My cat is putting on a show for you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Quickly on the game, I want to gauge your opinion on a few calls that maybe have went against you. Really, first to start off, the penalty shout on us, handball to Vida. We in Portugal at least love to complain about the referees, so feel free. What's your opinion on that penalty?
I mean, on the one hand, you could sort of make the argument that the header is hit with enough velocity and he has his back turned to it, so he can't really see what's happening. But on the other, obviously, I think why it's called is that his arm is in such an unnatural position. It's one of those ones where you hope maybe they just sort of it's what with the murky ruling these days, that they'll let it go. But when they do call it, it's it clearly it's not looking too good. So I didn't hate it, I guess is what I'll say.
Fair enough. And then your offside goal. Let me just quickly bring it up because I was trying to get the freeze frame of it here. What could have been potentially 3-2. I was actually watching this at work. It's not the greatest image right here, but I was watching this at work and I was convinced it was 3-2 until I turned on the second half and it was only 3-1. So there's your guy right around there. Thoughts on this? Offside, just barely, and your overall opinion on this, on the ruling on VAR right now, in terms of these offside calls.
Be
as real as you want to be. Don't worry, we have thick skin here.
No, I mean honestly, he is a hair offside. It looks like, and I think for the ref it must suck to even have to make that call because it's such a beautiful goal, and you don't even want to look at it, but they do sort of instinctively, and fair enough. I think he is a hair off. As for VAR, we've been on both sides of it. I wish. I mean, again, in this case, I think the call is legit, and you just hate to see it called because it was such a beautiful goal. But typically, I think we've been on both sides of it. But there's an issue with objective application of VAR, and there's always sort of a team of refs in Turkey that are in the VAR booth who all have their own reputations regionally. So, it just sort of perpetuates the same problem often in Turkey. Obviously, in Europe, you have a bit more objectivity, in these sort of competitions. So, I err on the side of the refs here. But in Turkey, it's still rife with the same politics and kind of, I don't know if it's the same in Portugal, but I assume so.
The exact same. The exact same. I don't know if you have an opinion on these two.
I think they got lucky. I think it's correct. And the reason I think it's correct is you can actually see because you got we actually
hold on.
There is a screen grab somewhere on the internet I tweeted it, Danny. It's on the Twitter somewhere. I tweeted the screen grab of it when the game was going on, and it has the lines. It's like a perfect angle. Be careful with video though, Danny.
I know. There it is. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's good. You can look at it. It's on the feed if you want to see it. Just scroll back 2 days. Yeah, I think they have a very good angle on it. It's almost right on, so you can actually have a decent look at it. And it's his toe's ahead a little bit. His toe is ahead of Fidal's ass by
exactly.
a couple inches.
Exactly. If only he had smaller feet, But
it's unlucky. It's unlucky. It's a great finish. It kind of a questionable celebration. The failed knee slide, but it was a great finish.
He's been out the whole season, and in 4 appearances, he's had 3 goals, and all of them have been fairly, outstanding in that fashion. Beautiful, but he's still not quite used to he's not quite in fit yet. And he's also clearly not used to celebrating goals. he needs to practice that a little bit, which I hope we can provide him the opportunity to do. But that's also a silver lining. I think he had a solid game, and he's had a couple now since returning. So he'll be vital, I think, if he can find that form and stay on side and keep his foot back a little.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the same Alex Teixeira that was linked to Liverpool, right? That then went to China.
Yes, exactly. Shined for Shakhtar Donetsk.
Exactly.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do remember this. Him. Yeah.
So, Real Al Furkinski, we'll get back to the game in a sec, just asking you guys the man of the match. But he's asking, what was the tiebreak last season? Because you guys did tie in points. I do remember that. What was the tiebreaker? Was it goal difference?
It went to goal difference because the head-to-head was even, too. It got really insane. But it wasn't as close as it was as people sort of assumed, because even if they had evened up on goals, we had the next thing as well. So they would have had to have won by 2 more goals rather than 1. But still, it was a 1 goal on paper anywhere, or at least 2 and whatever. Beyond that, 2 goals.
Oh, because if it was tied, then it would have gone to the next tiebreaker, which you
exactly.
Also
we had the next one which I don't even recall what it was anymore. Yeah, exactly. No, it was insane, and the whole sort of end of the season again, injuries. This is becoming a thing, but we had a ton of injuries hit us at the same time, and then a number of crazy results, and just mayhem until the last minute, basically. But we got it.
Danny,
what matters.
Was there any? I guess we can say this is a new segment I just created. Danny, what player on Besiktas surprised you the most?
I did like Alex Teixeira. I did like Batshuayi. I'm going to just give a quick shout out to my guy, Kyle Larin. Even though he didn't do much, I'm going to be real, but he scored the goal. That's all that matters. And that's all Kyle Larin is actually good at, is being at the right place at the right time. And I'm glad he's having the success at Besiktas, because he did struggle a bit when he initially got there, and then went out on loan a bit, and even then he was struggling a bit. So I'm glad to see my guy Larin.
Did he go straight? Did he go straight Orlando City to Besiktas?
To Besiktas, I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Okay.
And he sort of he had a half season with us where he rode the bench, and then sort of had a really good end of the season, I think. And then the next season we had some hope for him, and he tanked. Honestly, he was not good at all.
And then loaned out to Holland, if I'm not mistaken, and went
Belgium,
elsewhere.
I think.
Belgium, yes.
I can't remember the club exactly, but it's whatever. But and then he came back last season. He was key to our championship drive. He had 19 goals in the league, quite key actually. But he's been injured again. Also, I think we were kind of hoping he could find his form again, but he's also been out for a while, as you probably know, with the national side, right? Because he didn't go this last international break. Yeah. Same.
How about you? Sorry. No, go ahead. What were you saying?
Same with Atiba. Atiba
Yeah,
also.
he's still out. He's still out, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's why he didn't play against Sporting.
That's
unfortunate, but he's getting up there in age, to be fair, with Atiba.
Yeah, so. and Pjanic is really like he's kind of got the position this year at least, you know. I mean, I don't think Atiba comes back many more years.
That's actually a good shot. I should have said Pjanic because he was lights out, especially in the first half. I felt like he was really pulling the string for you guys. I'll pass that same question back to you though, Chris. Who impressed you in Besiktas?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I mean, I obviously thought Pjanic played well, and I mean, obviously there's a couple other players that I recognize, Lair and Vida, obviously the most obvious. But I remember the guy Gonzalo. He played in like the Prem or the Championship, right? Or both.
Yeah, Villa.
Yeah, for Leicester.
Yeah. I thought, I mean, his output was probably not that great at the end of the day, but I thought he was like kind of shifty on the wing, and I could see him creating problems for people in the future. I don't know if he's had a good season or anything, but just from this one game, I recognize his face. I remember him from England somewhere, and I was like, oh, this guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he really pulled the strings for us actually last season. He had a ton of assists. He's a key to anything we can do for sure. And actually, Valentin Rosier was really good last season, which is why we.
He's another against Sporting. He was kind of quiet. He wasn't bad, but he also wasn't good. He was just kind of like a 5.0, right? Just like he was out there,
Yeah. No, this season he's been a little, like he secured the bag, and I think he's. I don't know. No, I don't want to assume the worst because he really was fantastic last season, and I think for the Turkish league, he's a fantastic right back. So, hopefully it's just like he's just like everybody else, just trying to adjust to the whole team.
I want to see him in double-digit assist form again.
I'll take it.
I saw that the Ultras had a Rosier banner hung up with like a Tasmanian devil on it, or it's like the Rugrats, or not the Rugrats, the cartoon. Why is it my blanking it? Whatever like Warner.
I think Bros. It was the Tasmanian devil, right?
Is it Tasmanian? Yeah.
Like,
whatever that. I don't
know
know what that's supposed to mean, or if he like is known to like that character or something. But I thought it was pretty sweet.
I think it has something to do with his pace, but yeah.
Okay.
They got some weird thing going on our social media team for sure.
All right, Sinan, was there who on Sporting impressed you, surprised you?
Man. I mean, certainly it feels weird to say Poch because like I think it's hardly a surprise, right? But Palhinha, I think that is it João Palhinha?
Yeah.
Right? He was fantastic and a bit of a tough cookie. I could see him his type of talent sort of being good elsewhere in Europe. I don't want to say that. I know you guys probably don't.
He'll be at Wolves next season. Don't worry. It's a shock he's not there this season.
Yeah. That's what I was going
to say. He was almost there.
I'm telling you, it's Man United. Him and Ronaldo in the national team have basically been besties.
He's slowly becoming a regular for the national team. Like Sporting's not gonna be able to hold on to him. Remember, was it this? It was this preseason. He was training alone because he was going to be transferred. It was last. That was last preseason. Okay.
It was because it was the season when we were just before becoming a champion. We almost sold him for 15 million, Sinan, to fucking CSK Moscow for 15 million. Made him fucking train aside. Like you're not training with the squad.
For Moscow, come on, man. Another name.
It was like a 12+3, to be honest. Actually,
yeah, exactly.
Another name I'll mention, and I was shocked to find out how young he was after the game, is Gonzalo Inacio. I think he grabbed an assist, right? He's the one who kept heading at Coates. But he was a pain in the butt on set pieces. But yeah, he also seemed to have a real calm head about him. I think we would have hoped to have scored 2 or 3 goals, right? Like given our defensive weakness, we kind of rely on attack so far this year. And he was a big part of why. I mean, obviously Coates as well, but
the center back that's not Coates or Inacio, whether it's Reis, whether it's Fidal, whether it's Neto, is always the weakest link of the three center backs. Yeah.
There you go. But so yeah, I mean, the kid's 20. That's pretty remarkable, to be honest.
Yeah. He's grown a lot.
He really has. Quietly too, because like he was missing out on Portugal U21 calls. It's like he's starting for Sporting, like for all season. He's 20, like he's 19. It's like how are you not calling him for the youth national team? This
sounds so familiar, honestly. I bet it's the same politics too, where like some of the other clubs get like ridiculous call-ups that don't belong. Yeah, we get a lot of that. That's a common theme for the Turkish side here.
We have George Mintz pulling the. I mean, you guys do probably as well. We have George Mintz pulling all the strings. So
he stops by. It's not his main stomping ground, but he's been there. Yeah, he's been everywhere.
He's got to be. I was going to say he's going to trigger the Wolverhampton shenanigans. I'm sure for you guys, for Paulinho or whoever.
He already has, man. We won't go into great detail, but just I mean, Christian and our audience will get it. Just David Wang, and everybody else will understand the rest about it with the Wolves saga that George Mendes is gone on. But anyways, my quick question, I'll ask you a little question about how you became a Besiktas supporter and all that. And I'm sure maybe Christian might have a question or two for you as well. Just a last thing on this game, we typically always ask like who our man of the match were. So I'll start with you. I mean, it could be a Besiktas player. It doesn't have to be a Sporting player. Who was the most impressive player on the pitch for you?
I mean, that's tough. Paulinho's goal was probably the sort of most sublime moment, right? Like that curler from deep, like that was a beautiful goal. But it would be weird not to mention Coates as, for me, the sort of runaway man of the match. Just obviously scoring twice, but also just manning that back line so well for you guys, keeping us to the one goal. You know, I think Batsman was held to like, I think he was offside 5 times or something. So, you know, you guys were really well disciplined on the back line. And I would imagine that he's the leader of that back line. So I'm sure he played a huge role.
We lead the Champions League in offsides drawn through 3 matches.
Yeah, there you go. It's not a mistake. Just like you can't say that the goals that he scored are a mistake. Like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, right? Shame on me, right? I think that's how it goes. But yeah. I mean, you guys must have organized. That's got to be done in training for sure, right?
We scored a free corner kick in the cup game against Bolnitz with a flicked header with a header at the back post. So we've scored a lot of goals from corners this season, or from like the sequence that resulted from a corner, which is making up for our lack of efficiency scoring from open play. To be honest, it's kind of papered over some of those cracks while Pot was out, which hopefully the output from open play increases, especially in the league.
Yeah, well, he was a part of both.
We just had one of our highest scoring games, highest away win in Europe ever for the club. Like, it sounds weird saying that, but yeah, we had some difficulties early in the season scoring.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, guys. That's all. That's my final word.
The thing is if you beat us or even draw us,
things get serious again.
We're right. It's just we're back in the scrum. It's just you and us, baby, in the scrum for third.
That's right. Even though our manager is being,
and it'll basically come down to if either of us will be able to pull a result against the top 2, and if one of us does, congrats, you get Europa League.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Unless something crazy happens, maybe we can still finish top 2. No, I don't know. If they lose all of
their we'll go through in second, and you guys can go in third, and Dortmund goes out in a tiebreaker with like 6 points or something.
And Haaland gets out of here. If only that happened before this group, right? But whatever.
If Sporting beats Dortmund and we go through in second, Haaland's leave it in January. Sporting can force a Haaland transfer. Potentially.
I mean, he's probably going to leave in January anyway, right?
He might leave in January, but if they crash out, he's going to get the fuck out.
Newcastle need a striker, boys. They're going into a relegation battle with billions in the bank.
You hate to say it, but that's probably such a good call. Like,
yeah, you know.
They're going to make like 4 January signings.
At least. I think they're going crazy. Remember that year they still got relegated? The year they bought John Joe Shelby and a bunch of other players, like 50 million.
Yeah.
They spent. It's going to be that only on crack, I think. Sinan, last question for me, dude. I just wanted to know a bit more about your backstory.
Oh, yeah.
How you became a Besiktas fan, and I mean, I can tell from your accent, you know, a fellow North American like me and Christian here easily could have went to one of the bigger clubs like United or City, or well, not City, but Liverpool. You know, what made you turn to Besiktas? How did you get here, dude?
So it's funny. I guess it's a good story, maybe. So yeah, as a kid, I used to go to Turkey every summer to see family. My mother is Turkish, but my father is American. And I grew up here in New York City, born and raised. Go Knicks, by the way. That was a huge win last night. I'm sorry.
I saw everyone was all fired up outside the arena.
Just imagine being in front of the
It looked like a finals game 1 win, to be honest. But good for the Knicks.
It was huge.
Facts.
I was double overtime against the Celtics. No, I'm sorry. We're way out that big. But yeah,
it's all good.
growing up here, I used to go to Turkey every summer. And it's funny. My whole family over there are Fenerbahce fans. Like, they lived, you could see the stadium and hear whenever they would play, whenever they'd score a goal. It was insane when if like on the balcony anyway. But so I should have been a Fener fan, but I had one uncle who spoke English fluently, and I don't speak Turkish. It's like it's probably why I went to Turkish football, to sort of have that connection to my roots, you know, that I don't have in other facets that I should. I mean, I can speak a little Turkish, but you know. But so yeah, that one uncle who could we could converse easily, and you know, he was good at English. He was a huge Besiktas fan. Like, he had season tickets and would go, you know, and he'd always get me gear and stuff. So he kind of just like got it in my head, you know. And when it came time, like in school, like high school, when I was starting to get into the sport, it was finally being aired here in the United States a little bit, and of course it was just like Premier League. I mean, still it's paltry, but you know, at least now you can get like La Liga or Bundesliga or whatever. But you know, back then it was.
To be honest, right now for me, the Turkish league is far more accessible than the Portuguese league because it's literally on BN Sports, which comes in as not that obscure cable package. It doesn't come with a basic one, but you just got to get one level up to get it, which I have. Exactly. I have like level 2 of 4, and I get BN Sports. So, but the thing you run into with that is sometimes it's only like 2 games a week, and what if your team misses out? So sometimes that sucks. But like, if you catch 2 out of every 3 on normal television, I think I would trade and then illegally stream the 3rd one that's not on.
And the cool thing actually is they've kind of given BN Sports Extra, their like Roku channel or whatever, to the Super League. So actually, like, they lost
La Liga this season too, so more Super League matches, I bet.
Exactly. Also. So yeah, like, I haven't missed a game. I'm paying to see Besiktas in New York, which is wild. Like, anyway.
And you don't even have to do anything that crazy. It's just a channel, right? Like,
exactly. No, it's on my Roku, man. It's weird. Or not, like, you could get it on. There's like TV, like legal TV streams, like
yeah. You download like the apps and stuff.
xumo.tv. I don't even know how you pronounce it, Zumo, whatever. But yeah, and like you can just watch it on the internet, like without any, you know, you're not doing getting any shady pop-ups or anything, you know. So yeah, no, that's a really convenient thing now for following. But back in the day, there was not. I'd never even dreamed that would be a possibility, to be honest. But yeah, like when I finally had to pick a team, and I didn't really want to pick an English team sort of arbitrarily, I kind of went back to my roots and remembered all those experiences as a kid. So I guess the moral of the story is, if for your listeners or viewers, if you are Portuguese and you speak English well, that's how you're going to hook your family members abroad to your team. Like, talk to them often about it, because that's like all like 12 family members were talking Fener, and none of it got through. But like the one guy who could like sit me down and like talk about the history and the players and, you know, kind of get me into the ethos of the club or whatever it is, like that's the guy that won out, you know, in the end. So I guess that's the moral of the story.
Fair enough. Chris, I don't know if you have any other questions for Sinan here.
No, I mean that was awesome. I appreciate
Awesome.
you coming on. Obviously, wish you guys the best of luck, both against Gala on Monday. What time is it on Monday? It'll be on my TV.
1 p.m.
Early. All right,
Yeah.
Nice.
maybe I'll catch some of it in a
Lunchtime. Lunch
break. Lunchtime. Yeah, I'll definitely be rooting for them. And then I mean, best of luck when you guys come to Alvalade. I'm guessing that'll be the following week then, right?
Yeah. Early November.
It's on the Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
Do you want to preview it real quick?
Let's do that. So what are your thoughts on that game? I don't know if Christian's about to pull something up or not.
No.
No? Oh, wait. What's your thoughts on the upcoming game? I know there's some games in between, but what do you think Besiktas can do better, or maybe even from what you hear from your coach, are looking to capitalize possibly on?
Well, I think the shock and awe tactic he tried to employ at the beginning of the first match is probably out the window. The element of surprise is gone. I think I should say I hope that he'll have learned from that and he'll play a little bit more conservatively, at least as far as keeping his guys' energy going a little bit further into the match. But I mean, I expect to do better as far as the final scoreline because we'll have hopefully no more injuries. But the guys who are there will, I really hope, start to gel as a unit, and start to play well together. Of course, you never, that's sort of a wild card. So we're still hoping that's the case. But I think that'll be another 4 or 5 matches in the belt by then. So. I think I doubt you'll see much change as far as the tactic employed. You might see another left back out there. We have a young kid named Ridvan who is sort of, I think, debatably better. You might see, instead of Kyle Larin, you might see Georges Cavin Nkudu on the left wing. He's injured. He came into the season real hot, but then, some hamstring thing that was day to day turned into week to week. So, I don't, we'll see. But I wouldn't expect to see major changes tactically, but certainly a change in the approach. Or again, I hope that's the case. You never know. Some of these Turkish managers are real stubborn, So anyway.
What do you make your odds to either the odds of a win or a draw?
I would say that I would bet that we would draw. I think odds are definitely on a draw for us. And if anything, they favor you winning probably because I don't, I think everyone, probably you guys too, went into this match feeling like whoever won this one would have the advantage going into the next one because of the mentality going forward. Who has, what are you playing for? And I think it's a lot more exciting to be playing to stay in the Champions League rather than, hope to get a spot in the Europa League. So
for sure,
I would assume you guys will have the sort of mental edge for sure. But I would sort of say that you guys have the odds in your favor. But I would still think that a draw is the most. Nothing crazy, I would imagine. Yeah, we'll see.
Christian.
I thought you were going to go, Danny.
No, go. I'm pretty much done. I don't know if you want to give your preview on what you might expect.
Yeah. I mean, I expect a strong Besiktas squad who will, be playing for their lives. But at the same time, Sporting is kind of playing for their lives too, just in a different way. Because they know that if at the same time Ajax gets a result in Germany, they're gonna when the whistle blows, they're gonna be tied for second.
Yeah.
So I think that the group's still wide open, and I mean, I didn't expect to be thinking about talking about qualification, to be honest. And the only reason we are honestly is because of the Ajax convincing win and our convincing win. So yeah, things change fast in this group, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, losing 4-1 sucked.
It's hard.
We had a lot of hope coming in.
I think 4-3 or 5-4 or 5-3 is the more. I think 5-3 should have been the score.
I don't know. Did you guys see what happened to Roma today? That sort of makes me
Yeah. I left work and I checked the
now.
score. I'm like, what? 6?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that team
Reputation
has
of
a
the
giant
mud.
fish statue in their stadium. It's like, haha, banter, and then they win 6-1.
It's like,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that was fun. That made me feel a lot better about everything. It would be a lot harder to be a Roma fan today, I guess.
Fair. Christian, I don't know if you want to just quickly give us a modalidad, which is our other sports like we discussed on your podcast, Sinan, and because we actually have some European games that we played this weekend, and then I guess we can just wrap it up and call it a pod.
Sounds good. Okay, so I'll start. I did not. First of all, I'm going to start. Caveat this with I did not get everything, Steph style. Did not get any volleyball or women's volleyball or any other of the non-main pavilion sports. So I have what I have. It's also been 2 weeks.
What it is.
It's also been 2 weeks, which is it builds up if you miss a week. It's like double is like fucking 40 games. So basketball's played 4 games since our last pod. They lost to Porto in the league. They lost to Antwerp Giants in match day 1 of FIBA Europe Cup. Then they beat Mons Hainaut in second round of FIBA Europe Cup yesterday. And along the way, they also beat Academica in the league 98-59 obliteration. So 1-1 in FIBA Europe Cup. And I believe 2-1 in the league. So we'll be fine.
Sorry, last podcast, did we talk about the Porto loss?
We may have. I don't think we did because
what also just happened with Porto? Just as a side note, like their last game, they were protesting the refs or some shit like that.
So they never even showed for the game because they got scheduled the ref who allegedly we've literally broken down the play in excruciating detail and have determined why it's not a foul and then why it's the dumbest play ever by the second Porto player to foul the guy with the game tied with like 0.5 seconds left. So they just refused to play the game. This is Portugal for you. They got scheduled a ref that they didn't like and then refused to play the game.
Sounds like Fenerbahce behavior to me.
So yeah, that's the state of Porto. We lost them, so damn. Basketball team's got to get back on the saddle. 2 ladies games. Win against Tabosa 4-1 and a win against Estradale 4-0. Hockey, that same weekend that we lost to Porto in basketball, we also lost to them in hockey 9-5. That was 2 weeks ago, so that was a bad weekend. I'll admit it. But then we followed it up with a win against Barcelos, who's like the 4th team in Portugal for hockey. Really good. Beat them 7-4. Futsal 3-0. 4-0 win against FAF. 3-0 win against Modicus. 4-1 win against Portimonense. Easy peasy. 3-0. Futsal team's just getting started. Handball played against a team that I've never heard of, so I'm guessing they're promoted. Artística de Avança. Advanced artistics?
Yeah.
I don't really know. We beat them 46-28. For handball, that's a lot. 46 is a lot for handball, so we spanked them.
We spanked those artists.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of part-time artists. Yeah, part-time artists, part-time handball. We beat ABC 35-28. We're 6-0 in the league, pacing the pack. I think Porto was also 6-0, but that's good. And then yesterday for the Europe, after basketball won their first European game in a year, handball won in a literal buzzer beater. We scored with like 5 seconds left, and then they didn't even have enough time to get the ball out of the net and go up the court. So we beat them 29-28. I think that was the first European game. But Alpha Karinsky will correct me if it was the second, and I'm forgetting the results of the first one. I don't think it's the first one, but I don't remember the first one at all.
Rudy, get in the chat.
And then UEFA Youth League, we beat Besiktas 3-1. So I think does Besiktas have any points for UEFA Youth League? Do you know, Sinan? Or do they have 1 point maybe? We're in second with 5
I don't think we have
points.
any.
Yeah, I think Ajax has 7. We have 5.
Zip.
Dortmund has 4. Besiktas is 0.
Yeah,
So
That's
yeah,
unfortunate.
I mean, it's tough. We have a top academy. So does Ajax.
Yeah. No, we really got screwed in that department, honestly. I will add one. Speaking of pavilion sports, Besiktas has a really solid basketball program, and their product Alperen Şengün just played for Houston Rockets last night, and his NBA debut had 11 points in 19 minutes, 6 boards, 2 assists. So
that's pretty good.
Just
That's
saying,
solid.
not bad.
He played on their opening night roster. That's pretty sick.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's like the first time that's happened for Besiktas. Still,
so was he playing for Besiktas? Got drafted, kept playing for Besiktas, and then eventually went over.
No,
that's normally the formula.
Yeah, they assumed he would be a draft and stash, but they called him in for summer league, and I guess he.
Oh, and he right away after that
he earned his spot.
Yeah, good for him. Damn.
So they bought him out or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever that contingency is, but yeah.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's the only news I have as far as.
No, that's pretty sweet.
No, that's solid.
Nemias Keita, the first Portuguese player ever drafted, is on the Kings. Was a DNP in his opener. So yet to get a Portuguese player in the NBA, but hopefully by the end of the season he steps on the court.
There you
You
go.
think that he will. You would have to think that he will. Kings will be out of the playoff race.
I was gonna say, man,
We'll be out of the playoff race by February. And
there's a bunch of. Go ahead, Sinan.
By the middle of next week, I think
they're out of the playoffs. There's a lot of Portuguese people on the timeline talking about the Kings are about to win the NBA championship. Like they were looking at the Milwaukee ring and like that's Kings next. That's Kings next. Like guys, calm down, man.
As a Knicks fan,
maybe the D League. Maybe he'll leave the D League.
The D League
championship this year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Their G League team for sure.
All right.
Cool.
I mean, I guess we'll leave it at that.
AG is this Saturday.
AG is this Saturday.
All I'll say is it's getting crazy, right? It's getting really crazy. These last days in the run-up, Rogério Alves is saying shit.
In the mud.
Andre Bernardo, the SAD director, is saying shit. Varandas will probably do an interview. They sent every socio a text message today encouraging them to vote yes and kind of indirectly threatening them. Yeah, like kind of being like, if you don't approve this, like something bad might happen. Like crazy.
Really?
It is crazy.
Nice club you have here. I'd hate to see something happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all on the feed if you want to check it out. I know some of you probably want to just kill yourself when you hear us talk about it, and I don't blame you, but I just can't look away, man. It's so juicy, dude. And then, I mean, if he wins on Saturday, it's gonna die down. But if he loses on Saturday, it's gonna be a bomb detonating. You haven't seen nothing yet, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. Let's quickly, not even a preview, just a prediction on the Moreirense game, and then I'll ask Sinan a prediction of the Galatasaray game, and then maybe in the group chat we'll ask everybody about players because I only remembered that shit that we were doing that league just now. But anyways, I'm gonna say a big 3-1 win for us this weekend. What do you think, Chris?
2-0.
2-0. I'll go with 2 pot goals. So I'll just throw that out there. Nothing else.
I'm gonna go with the main man, Paulinho, and Paulinho banger.
Sinan, Derby. What are you thinking? What are you saying? Don't jinx yourself, of course. But what do you think is gonna be the outcome?
I think we're gonna win. I think that the loss to you guys.
Where is it? Is it at you or away?
Vodafone Park. We're at home.
Still 50% capacity.
Yeah, I think so. But
it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was still pretty good.
50%. No, but I think we're gonna win. I think that that performance will sort of drive the side to do better. I think enough of the pieces have sort of started working out. I think Alex Teixeira probably scores again. He's looking hungry. Batshuayi, if he can stay on side, will probably score. I would say like 2-0 or 3-1. I think Besiktas claims this one. Galatasaray, they're getting better, but they still haven't really been very impressive.
Did they win today? Do you know?
Yeah, they beat Lokomotiv Moskva 1-0, but they could have lost so easily. Like it really didn't look so good for them. they're still looking for themselves too, even more than us. I think they had a lot more upheaval than we did. So, yeah, I'm not scared of them.
Fair enough, man. Wishing you guys good luck on Monday. I'll keep my eye on that. Guys, give Sinan a follow at Sir_Writes_a lot and his podcast at Eagles_podcast. I got that right? Hopefully.
That's right.
Perfect.
Just dropped an episode today, actually, about the Sporting game. So you can hear about it from our perspective, from my perspective.
Sick.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us as always, man. And hopefully see you for the second game. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, why not? I'm down.
Sounds good.
If it's really embarrassing, I don't know, man.
Bring the whole crew if it's really embarrassing.
I'll give somebody else. I'll pass it on.
Nah, if Besiktas wins, we're both going to be here doing the goal differential contos or something.
There you go. That's right. Then I'll definitely be back. No, I'll be back. No, I can take it.
Sounds good then. All right. You guys know where to follow us. Sporting160EN, everything on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, OnlyFans. You know the vibes. Yeah, Viva Sporting. Ciao.